So homeopaths often talk about acutes and chronics, don't we?
Things that might return every year.
What's homeopathy done for you at home?
It's exhausting and so worrying, and
That's really worrying.
I think that's where I get a little bit sort of nervous sometimes.
Homeopathy can be so amazing,
absolutely,
can't
it
it?
takes
Yeah. Welcome to the Healthy Homeopathy podcast. Hi, hello lovelies, I'm Karen Grover, and you're in the right place if you want to find out more about how homeopathy and natural healthcare can help you. So grab a pen and paper, take some notes, get ready to your favourite drink, cozy up with me. And today I'm joined by my guest, Sophie Murishwar. Hello, Sophie. Sophie is a member of the Healthy Homeopathy team, the first member. Very important member, and she's joining me today to talk to us about homeopathy and how it can help you and your children and your babies. But first of all, Sophie, tell us about how you got into homeopathy.
Hi, Kieran. Hi, Kieran. Nice to be here. So, I first used homeopathy as a teenager, many, many moons ago.
Okay.
Um,
Can I ask what you used it for?
yes, first remedy was Ignatia. I think I was quite a stroppy teenager,
Right. Okay.
and it was recommended to my gran for me, and that was my first experience of it, and it was good. But then nothing for many, many years until I had my son, and he experienced severe eczema and allergies as a young baby,
Right.
and I didn't want him to remain on the steroid creams and all the antihistamines and everything else the doctors had to offer, which was going to be, for years to come. And so I looked at natural alternatives, and which eventually led me to homeopathy. I looked at all different things like balancing minerals and natural creams and all the rest of it, and it was just a natural progression. I actually signed up to study herbalism,
Right. Okay.
and then at CNM, and I clicked on the college on the map, and then I saw, oh, there's CHE nearby. What's that? I clicked on it, and I watched a sample lecture by Tony Hurley, and that was it. I was hooked, and I thought actually that was what I was supposed to be doing, and that's when I signed up, and I haven't looked back.
Fantastic. So it sounds like you use homeopathy in your home
Absolutely,
as well
absolutely.
as obviously in the clinic as well, in the online
Yes,
clinic.
yeah, it's
And I
been
think that's what's
invaluable.
really empowering about it. You can use homeopathy as you don't have to be a homeopath to use homeopathy. You can first aid with it. It's a very, to use your word, a very empowering thing. If your kid has got, or you've got a cough, a cold, tummy ache, etc., etc., it's something that you can use yourself.
Well, that's it, and it's safe, and it can replace sort of the go-tos that we're all told to sort of use normally, like
Yeah,
Calpol
you're
and all
right.
the rest of
The
it.
safety record's fantastic. It's safe enough to use in pregnancy. I've used it in both my pregnancies. I used it in birth. I'm very lucky. My mum's a homeopath, so
Yeah.
she was there kind of slipping the aconite and all the other remedies that I needed during birthing. It's completely safe to give to babies, children. Its safety record is fantastic. It's known for that. And I think it's also people feel quite reassured taking homeopathy because it's mainly made from natural things, plants, minerals, etc. I mean, the most well-known homeopathic remedy,
Arnica.
arnica, exactly. And arnica's a mountain flower. Who in the world, I mean, there must be people who don't have it, but most people will have an arnica cream or a gel or some tablets, and they know if there's been a bump or a bruise or a sprain or anything like that, it's fantastic to take.
But of course, that's normally the extent of people's knowledge, isn't it? Is
That's
just the
true.
arnica, and people often don't know really that it's homeopathy that they're using
Yeah.
when they put on their arnica cream on their bruises. But yes, when you learn a bit more, it is empowering, and knowing that you don't always have to resort to going to a doctor or pharmacy. You've got it there, right there for you in your home.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think that's what we're going to be talking about today, how people can use homeopathy at home, particularly for their kids, their loved ones, their babies, etc.
That's it, absolutely. Yeah.
So homeopaths often talk about acutes and chronics, don't we? And that's fine in our lingo, but I think sometimes people think, what is that? What
Mm.
is an acute? What is a chronic? How do I know which one I've got? Which consultation do I book? An acute one, a chronic one? Are the chronic ones an hour? The acute ones half an hour? What do I do? Etc. Um, so I think it'd be really useful if we just kind of say what it is. I mean, I think always giving examples are better.
Yes, absolutely. So anything that you've developed recently, like a cold
Yeah,
or fever,
yeah, yeah,
or
yeah,
if you've um, had a bump, or you know that's short lived, that will be self limiting, and that is generally considered an acute
yeah. Absolutely.
situation,
So
isn't
that
it?
would be, as you said, like I don't know, a knock, but it could also be a headache, a
Hmm.
cough, a cold, a sore throat, diarrhea, constipation,
That's it.
all
Food
those
poisoning. Yep.
delicious things that people sometimes talk about. Yeah,
Mm.
exactly. So hopefully around for 24, 48 hours. But when you're going through it, it can be quite intense.
Mm.
If you've got a
That's right.
fever or your child's got a fever, you want to be controlling it. Although a fever is a very good immune response, it shows your body is working the right ways. People want to control them to make sure they don't go out of control, particularly with
Hmm.
a young child. So I mean, homeopathy can be fantastic for that. But anyhow, before we get on to that, chronics. So
Oh, so yes, chronics. You might be looking at hay fever, things that might return every year,
yeah,
or that are going on past sort of 3 or 4 weeks.
yeah,
Um,
or even
aut
sometimes years.
or
People
years,
have these.
autoimmune problems
Yeah,
or
yeah, yeah,
arthritis,
yeah. Eczema,
eczema.
migraines, kind of, as you say, things that come regularly,
Yeah.
that kind of thing, all sorts of things. So I think I think when you've got an acute, homeopathy can be really empowering to use at home.
Hmm.
So whether you've got a fever, a cough, a cold, a sore throat, or your loved one has, it's a brilliant thing. And I brought along, I see you brought yours too,
Yes,
these fantastic homeopathic kits. We're not selling them, but you can buy these from homeopathic pharmacies.
that's right.
It has got
Here's
my
my one.
Mine's got about 30 in there. This is really old. I bought this when I was pregnant with my first child. I top it up every now and again. But that can be really useful. It's got a little prescribing book in it, and you can look it
Yes.
up and go, right, I've got a sore throat. What do I take for that sore throat? But then, because as we know, but with homeopathy, you don't get one remedy for sore throats.
Hmm.
You've got a number you can choose from, and you choose it according to the other symptoms. Is it dull? Is it sharp? Is it painful to swallow? Is it better for drinking water? And we do that in something called clams, don't we? Go
That's
on, you
right.
run through
That's
clams.
right. So yes, so C is for concomitant. So that is other symptoms that will go along with your cold, for example. You
Hmm.
might have it with a headache, for example. That could be a concomitant
Yeah,
symptoms. And then you've got location. So if you've got a sore throat, it might be on the left or it might be on the right.
yeah,
Um, etiology, A for etiology. So how did it start?
yeah.
Um,
Yeah, sore throat. Maybe you're doing a podcast. Maybe you're
that's right.
talking
Maybe
for a long
talking
time.
too much.
Yeah, or maybe I don't know, you caught a sharp wind on
Yeah.
the way home or something like
That's
that.
right.
Yeah,
Yep. And then we've got
M.
modalities,
Yeah.
things that make things better or worse. So your
Mm.
sore throat might be better for having warm drinks.
Mm.
For someone else, it might be better for having cold
Yeah,
drinks. So that
or
would
ice
indicate a
cream.
different remedy.
Yeah, yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, definitely.
And sensation, how does it feel? Is your
Mm.
headache pounding
Mm.
or is it sharp pain?
Mm.
All those things make a difference
Yeah, or if it's
to,
a sharp sore throat or dull, or if it
yes.
hurts when you speak. Yeah, no, absolutely. So there's that. Homeopathy's got that reputation, rightly so, of being very individualized treatment. So even for something as small as a sore throat,
Mm,
you're going to be choosing different remedies. But with a kit like that, or talking to one of the, the homeopathic helpline or Swift,
mm.
etc., there are different ways, or your homeopath as well. There are different ways of working out what's going to be the right remedy for you in that
Yes.
acute
And,
situation.
and I think it's important to say that while, it's wonderful to prescribe at home, maybe if you tried one or two or even three remedies and you're not getting anywhere, that might be the time then to, consult with someone for an acute
Yeah,
consultation if
absolutely,
necessary,
and they're available, and they range anything from
Mm,
15 minutes to 30 minutes. I
that's
think
right.
depending on
Yes. Yes.
where you go and who you speak to. And versus chronics. So
Mm,
chronics, I mean, I think, you tell me what you think as well, Sophie, please, but I think chronic is a time when actually it's really important to talk to a homeopath, even as a homeopath myself. So in my own home, absolutely, if I've got a sore throat or something, I'll be rummaging in my little box, taking a remedy or two, do it for the kids, my lovely husband, or anybody else in the family. But when it comes to something more chronic, whether it's myself or in my family, and obviously patients as well, I would then urge them to go to a professional homeopath.
Yeah, completely
Do you do
agree.
the same?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely, because it's hard to see the bigger picture sometimes. Because when
Mm.
we're dealing with with a chronic situation, you're not just looking at those physical symptoms, are you? You're looking at the mental and emotional state of a person. You know what's happened in their life previously, and even in previous generations. You know, looking at patterns that might emerge, and it's hard to see that sometimes if you're too close to the situation, isn't
Yeah,
it?
no,
So.
absolutely. So, moving on to talking about children and
Mm.
children, we're both parents, got kids. Um, what's homeopathy done for you at home?
Oh, well, it's sort of transformed how, I approach to healthcare.
Okay.
You know, the my son's had some issues growing up, but I mean, just a very small example to begin with was he had a really nasty fever when I first started studying homeopathy, and I was learning that fever is a good thing. You know, that you can let it run its course sometimes, but then maybe if the child becomes distressed or
Why is
whatever
it?
else.
What was? I know why it's a good thing, but other people are
Well,
listening.
because it shows that the body's it's a good immune response. So the body raises the temperature
Mm,
so that it can then fight whatever
mm,
it deems as necessary, pathogens or whatever. Maybe
yeah,
it's a virus or bacteria
yeah.
that needs to sort of overcome. Um, but, if a fever is persistently high or the child is distressed or maybe very lethargic,
Mm.
and that's what happened to my son, he became very, very
Oh, okay,
lethargic.
that's really worrying.
That's when I went in with a
Yeah.
remedy. And so
Mm.
I gave him belladonna, and he'd had this fever for, most of the day. And one dose of belladonna, and because he had the red cheeks and was floppy and all the rest of it, he went to sleep for 10 minutes and woke up and was perfectly fine
My gosh.
and asked for food.
Yeah.
So that's how quick
Yeah.
and it can
So
be, and it
homeopathy can be
takes
so amazing, can't
absolutely it
it?
takes a
Yeah.
worry away and stops you needing to give other things like Calpol. But then on a longer term basis, it's helped him with his eczema and his allergies.
Right.
So he suffered terribly, which is what led me here in the first place. But then seeing a homeopath has meant that his skin is completely clear of eczema.
Fantastic.
His allergies are improved. They're not completely gone, but he
Mm,
has many of them,
mm,
but much less reactive.
good.
So it's working sort of slowly but surely to
To make
making
it,
his life much easier
yeah,
than it
more
would have been.
manageable for you.
Mm.
Yeah, no, anyone who's ever had a kid with eczema and if they're itching and scratching and they
Oh.
can't sleep at night, it's so, well, it's tiring for the whole family and no one wants to see their kid in distress at all.
It's exhausting and so worrying, and it's one of those conditions where, you know, it won't cause you immense harm on a physical level, but it
Yeah,
is debilitating, and like you say, it affects everything,
yeah.
and it causes so much discomfort. So, to be able to now help others as well, in that situation, knowing firsthand how disruptive it can be,
Mm.
to family life and upsetting it can be, is wonderful. And there are so many options available, to help people with those issues. So,
Yeah, yeah, no, definitely. You're just making me think about when I'm in clinic. Um, Parents often approach me beginning of the new school year, September, October time,
mm,
because of immunity issues. Actually, it's not even kids at school, it can be kids in nursery, and they're continually getting these coughs and colds and chestiness, etc. And okay, it's not, generally speaking, that's not life threatening, which is brilliant.
mm.
But on the other hand, the child is tired, the family's tired, it's draining the child's energy, they miss school or nursery. That can actually have an impact on their outcomes. It can have a huge impact if a child is continually missing school.
Well, of course, and that's the importance of treating acutes when they come along, isn't
Yeah,
it? It can
yeah.
stop it turning into a sort of a chronic situation, whereas every year, you expect ill health.
That reminds me of my brother, actually. So, my mum, being a homeopath as well, would treat us at home, coughs and colds, all that kind of thing. My brother started to develop asthma, I think, I was about 5, so he was about 8, 9 years old.
Mm.
And we went to see this. He was very well known back in the day, homeopath in Ealing called Dr. Singer. He was really, really strict. And he put Ken on homeopathy, but also, which actually in hindsight I thought was really empowering, he said to my mum, your son needs to develop his lung capacity. So I'm going to give him the homeopathy. He's going to have that every day. There was also some supplements and stuff to take as well. But I want him to either take up, I kid you not, a wind instrument, like the oboe or the flute or something like that. My brother was like, that's not happening. Or I want him to do some kind of sport or exercise every single day, which gets him out of breath. And my mum said, okay. And my brother was fairly active. And she said, but, not when it's raining. He went, no, when it doesn't matter if there's a bit of rain, just he should wrap up a bit more. So we took to if it was really pouring with rain, we'd go in the garage, me and my brother, and we'd skip for 20 minutes with a rope so that we'd get really out of breath. And over the course of that winter, with the homeopathy and those simple things like doing plenty of exercise and etc., my brother's asthma cleared. And my brother's now in his mid-50s. He's never had asthma again. And it's just amazing to get him when he was, not get him, but you know what I mean, to treat it when he was young.
Yes.
And to actually put in place homeopathy and some lifestyle changes completely changes outcomes.
Absolutely.
Touch reduce a healthy man.
That's wonderful. I mean, it highlights two things, doesn't it? You sort of avoid a lifetime of sort of suppressive medications as well going forward, better quality of life. And also, as homeopaths, we're not just giving out homeopathic remedies, are we? We are, looking at the whole person and seeing where they can improve their lifestyle as well.
Yeah.
Which obviously then has a positive effect.
Absolutely. I mean, sometimes information that me and you might take for granted can be really useful, can't it? Like I call it a potion. The kids call it a potion, but when they have, and now they do it themselves now they're in their teens. But if there's a cough or a cold, a hot drink with a little bit of honey, lemon, finely sliced ginger, just use a carrot peeler or something. Someone told me a while ago, whole black pepper, not ground, but whole. Turmeric as well, if you want to put in there. And actually, it can feel very soothing, but also so many good things to help you.
It's just supporting the body, isn't it? Which is what's so important.
Yeah.
Is to allowing the body to express what it needs to express, but supporting that, supporting it along the way.
And other things, like my kids are of the age where they're starting to travel without me, and they'll take their little homeopathic kits that we were looking at a few minutes ago, but they'll also take things like herbal tea. If they get tummy aches, so some fennel seeds or cumin seeds, or cumin, I think it's quite an Indian thing, roasted cumin seeds. My dad swore by it, and I've had proper Delhi belly in Delhi. And as long as you've got a kettle in your room, boil up the water, roasted cumin seeds. People use it in curries and different in rice and that kind of thing. We call it jeera, as you probably know. And then you have that, and honestly, it can get you off the loo quite quickly. It's brilliant.
I love these little tips.
Yeah, no, exactly. So when you're teenagers sort of going, I'm going on a jaunt with my friends, and you think, well, at least if they do catch something, a little bit of your food poisoning, they'll be all right. But fennel seeds can be really helpful. Ginger.
Of course, yes.
My mum always used to say when when I was little, the kids were little, a bit of ginger ale even, like flat ginger ale if you've got an upset tummy.
Yeah, well, yes, it's great for nausea as well, isn't it? And
yeah. And a bit of arnica cream, we were talking about that earlier, for bumps and bruises. But I always like to think of calendula cream being like the sister of arnica, for those fine cuts and grazes.
Wonderful.
Scraping knees. I mean, your son's still of the age where he might scrape his knees. And
yes. So calendula cream, or even calendula mother tincture.
Yeah.
Washing wounds, and things heal up so quickly.
And the thing is, a lot of these things you can buy really easily.
Oh, yes.
Obviously things like fennel tea or whatever you can buy from a supermarket. But arnica cream,
calendula cream,
calendula
you can
cream,
buy those in the big
you can
supermarkets.
buy it in the
Yeah.
supermarket, you can buy it
Colin
in the,
Barrett.
yeah, exactly,
Mm,
health stores, pharmacies, they're
mm,
everywhere really. So
yeah.
it's brilliant. Do you use things like colloidal silver at all?
I don't use silver, but another thing I do love is magnesium.
Mm. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I just think it's so useful. It helps to sort of combat stress, and life is so stressful these days. And it's
Is
great,
this for adults or for children or?
well, I think maybe adults more of the
Yeah.
stress, but children, if they're having problems sleeping,
Yeah.
it can be really useful. You can
Do you
add
get
Epsom salts to the bath. You can
Epsom
Epsom
salts? Oh my
salts, they're
God. We used to have
fantastic.
that as kids. It'll make
Yeah.
you go to the loo though if you're not careful.
Well, if you drink it,
Yeah.
it will.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
Which you can do
Yeah,
actually, but
yeah.
I don't recommend it.
No.
But in the bath, and your
Yeah.
body, because it's absorbing it through the skin, will take as much as it needs, and you won't sort of be taking in
Yeah.
too
I
much. And
remember it always feels warming as well. My mum used to make us have one Epsom, in winter, an Epsom salt bath
yeah,
once a week after swimming.
yeah,
It's
it
lovely.
does help. It does
Yeah.
help. And putting it on child's feet, for example, can help them sleep at night, and you get
Yeah.
it in a cream.
Yeah.
Um,
I use Tiger Balm if they're
oh,
coughing on
oh,
the soles of
soles
their
of feet.
feet.
That's a great place to
Yeah,
put things.
brilliant. Yeah, yeah, really,
Yeah.
really helpful. And the kids, again, they know that. That's another thing that's been packed off to university
Yep.
as well. How about supplements? Do you use those for yourself or for your son?
I do. I do. I use things like trace minerals and
Mm.
things like that, which is, and can we talk about tissue salts? I think they're really, really useful.
Yeah, yeah. Let's talk about tissue salts.
Yeah, yeah, they're just very useful because they help us sort
Should
of,
we let's
yeah.
describe what they are. So tissue salts are 12 homeopathic remedies
Hmm.
made from minerals that are pretty much found in the body.
Yeah, they're sort of our building blocks, aren't they?
Yeah,
I think.
silica, potassium, iron, that type of
Hmm.
stuff. And then you can combine them to use the different acutes again, or
Yes.
support systems.
Yes. So you have, yes, exactly. So you can have combinations, for example, that support skin and hair, aren't you? Other ones, liver support, and they're just very easy to use and quite intuitive to use, aren't they? And they
Yeah.
don't interfere with regular homeopathic remedies, aren't
Yeah.
they? Because they're sort of very low potency
Yeah. And all
and
of it
very
can be
easy to
taken
use.
alongside prescribed
Yeah,
medication if there's necessary prescribed medication.
absolutely.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. Tissue salts can be used for system support, like you were saying, liver or skin, etc. It can also be used for kind of problem support. So you get hay fever combinations
That's right.
or period pain combinations.
Mm.
And you can also, if you have all 12 of them, mix and match. You get brilliant books about it. I
Yes.
think of it a little bit like gateway homeopathy. So when we were growing up at home, my mum would prescribe for us, but actually, when it came to, if I was getting a little bit of a sniffle at school or something like that, we knew where the tissue salts were in the house, and mum would just say, go and, if you need to look in the book, talk to me. Otherwise, she'd be cooking dinner or something.
Mm.
Go and help yourself. You'll probably need some ferrum phos. You'll probably need some silica. Go and have a look. And it was
Yeah.
really empowering, actually, as a kid to kind of know, I've got a problem. I know what I can do about it. And absolutely, I'll check with a grown up. But actually, I also know what I'm doing.
Exactly. And it's same for Isaac. Well, he's 10 now and he gets sort of growing pains. So
Right.
we
Yeah.
know to increase his sort of calc phos, for example, during
Yeah.
those times.
And pregnancy.
Pregnancy.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
amount of pain. I mean, I did it myself. I'm sure you did as well. Or maybe you did. No, you came to homeopathy afterwards.
Yes,
Missed out on that one.
I did.
But I'm sure you do with clients. Use a tissue salt pregnancy program. That's brilliant because it gives your body what you need when you need it, because your body's needs change through
That's right.
pregnancy.
Yeah. I mean, what I think what they do is they help you assimilate what you're taking in your diet,
Mm.
don't they?
Yeah.
Help make best use of it and direct it where those minerals where they need to be.
Mm.
So no, they don't replace a healthy diet
No, of course
for
not.
taking things in, but they help make the most of it, I think, as
Same
well,
with
don't they?
supplements. I think
Mm.
it's really important to come at your health from different angles. So just like you wouldn't, I don't know, only get fresh air and then think I'm done. you get some fresh air, you get some exercise, you need to have some good sleep, you'll drink plenty of water, you'll watch your diet in terms of making sure you've got variety there.
Mhm.
You've got, that basic kind of dinner plate of half kind of veg, quarter protein, quarter carbohydrates. But I do think on top of that, tissue salts can be really useful. Supplements can be, I'm a big fan of supplements. My parents lived till they're in their 80s, and I think the supplements were part of a healthy lifestyle. And basic, sometimes it can be really basic. Like with my kids, they both had Animal Parade, a type of multivitamin made by
Mm.
Higher Nature. But then when one of my daughters, she had a real tendency towards getting glue ear. So then I'd give her vitamin C with zinc.
Mhm.
You can kind of dial it up and dial it down. One of my kids, I had a lot of, well, she's neurodiverse and she had developmental issues going on. So I made sure I topped her up with plenty of quality omegas to can help with that. But also
Yep.
things like lecithin as well. There's lots of things you can do around it, again, to support her through her development and her growth. And now, I'm menopausal. Magnesium,
Yes.
absolutely amazing to help promote a deeper sleep,
Mhm.
help with aches and pains. I'm
That's right.
pointing because I've got a little ache there at the moment. What else can you take? God, so I mean, it has to be bespoke. People read different things,
That's
but
it. I think that's where I get a little bit sort of nervous sometimes is when people are saying, "Oh, this is good for this is good," and they
yeah,
don't really have an understanding of whether they need it
yeah,
because you're still putting something into your body, um, and yeah,
yeah.
like
And
you
even
say,
if
it
it's
needs to
natural,
be
it needs to be
appropriate.
there for the
Mm.
right reasons.
Mm.
I mean, you can do different things, can't you? We use in the clinic hair mineral analysis,
Mm.
which is just simply a lock of hair. They analyze and they tell you what you need. I think that can be really useful.
Oh, just going to say, it's important to remember again. Try and use sort of whole food supplements
Yeah,
and things like that, so that you're
that's what I
not,
was going to say.
yeah, so
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
not taking in a load of synthetics
yeah.
which aren't actually useful to the body, and then the body has to work harder then in order to know what to do with it. I think, isn't it?
Absolutely. Now, the amount of times I say
Mm.
that to patients, um, true value from supplements isn't always actually the cheapest one you can find because they're
Mm.
usually partially or even wholly synthetically made.
Mm.
Actually, what you want is ones that are made from real foods,
That's it.
plants, etc., that your
Mm.
body knows what it is, it can absorb it
Yes,
easily and
exactly.
utilize it. Yeah, no, definitely.
Mm.
What are you seeing a lot of in clinic at the moment, Sophie?
Ah, well, coming into spring, of course, so hay fever,
Yeah,
and it seems to have come on quite early for some people
yeah,
this year as well.
yeah, I noticed that.
So, when we had that sort of warm weather back in February, a few calls then saying, "Oh, what can you do?"
Yeah.
And again, that's one of those chronic issues because it comes back year after year.
Mm,
Um, and so, there are different approaches we can deal with those underlying causes of hay fever, as well as sort of treating the acute symptoms, which of course differ for everyone.
yeah.
So, 5 people might have a different remedy each. Um, but that's mainly at the moment what we're seeing. It's one of those things that it's great to treat before the season begins,
Ideally.
but ideally, but that it's not essential.
Yeah,
You can treat it during the season, and then
absolutely.
again maybe later on in the year, so that then it lessens the symptoms the following year.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, I love that hay fever program that I was
mm,
taught, and you were probably taught at college as well, 20 odd years ago or whatever. And I think even then it'd been around for a long
yeah.
time. But, that idea of, as you say, kind of addressing the root cause,
Mm,
um, also helping people in terms of that stimulation of how do I put it? So the hay fever program works in two ways, doesn't it? One is addressing the root cause by
mm,
taking that program, that 6-week program of remedies, but then also treating the day-to-day symptoms because they're going to be different for different people, aren't they? Some people
mm,
are going to be sneezing, itchy eyes, blocked nose, sore throat. There are lots of different symptoms, and it can really make someone's life a misery, whether it's a child at school who wants to, I don't know, compete in sports day and stay inside
Mm,
instead, to an adult going to work or anything else, and their eyes are streaming, and they think, oh God, what are my colleagues going to think of me when I turn out looking like I've been crying for
mm,
5 hours? So I think the hay fever program's often a way for people who haven't used homeopathy before to try it. And when I say to people, okay, we're going to run it through, as you say, ideally, you'd start it at the beginning of the hay fever season. But if you haven't, it's not the end of the world. You can still
mm,
catch up with it and run it through the season. And then when I say to them, probably you probably need to have it next year, possibly then the year after. And then after that, 9 times out of 10, people are done. That's it. They don't have hay fever anymore. And then people's jaws drop out. They go, what? I won't have hay fever anymore. I've had it for 10, 20, 30 years.
Well, that's it. It often starts in childhood, doesn't
Yeah.
it? And it runs in families.
Yeah.
You used to. "Oh, my gran was always sneezing.
Yeah.
My mum didn't. It skipped her generation, but Isaac has it sometimes. And it's just, and I think it's miserable for people.
Yeah.
You come out of winter, things are it's just getting warmer, and then you start sneezing, and then the
Yeah.
next
It's
few months
really
are going to be
unfair.
miserable.
It's really, I
Yeah.
mean, I don't have it. I'm one of those lucky people who don't have it. And one of my daughters doesn't have it, but my husband did.
Mm.
And that's how he then actually became interested in her. Up until that point, he was just like, oh, that's what Kieran does, fine. But when I treated his hay fever, and he had it, like you said, from being a teenager right through until I think he was in his late 30s then, he was quite surprised.
Mm.
And then my younger daughter, she got it one summer, and I thought, uh-oh. And I thought, no, let's do it. And because she was young, she was only about 10 at the time, or 11, she didn't have it ever again.
Mm.
That was it. One summer of it, whilst her friends have continued to have it year in, year out. And then on top of that amazing hay fever program, the homeopathy hay fever program, and obviously having acutes as well, simple things like using a barrier.
Mm.
So you can go and buy things from a pharmacy, but actually I say to my patients, it might sound a bit grim, I'll put a little bit of olive oil up your
Mm.
nostrils. I mean, obviously
That's
wash
all
your
right.
hands afterwards,
Yeah.
but a little rummage in the morning.
And it's good for the skin anyway.
Good for
So
the skin. Taking a good dose of vitamin C.
yeah,
That
local honey.
local honey, and if you can't get local honey, I mean, hopefully you can. But if you can't, honey from your country,
Mm.
English
Yes.
honey, and look for good Providence as well, because there's been messing around with. That's what I'm going to do when I retire. By the way, Sophie, I'm going to become a beekeeper. No, I'm not. I'm not joking. I absolutely love. We used to live next door to a beekeeper, and I
Oh.
absolutely love bees and all that kind of stuff. But anyhow, checking. So buying it from somewhere
Mm.
good, some kind of Providence, like a supermarket you trust, or a market that
Yeah.
you
Do I
trust.
get a raw, or is this the honey raw or unfiltered?
Yeah. We used to be
Mm.
told to, maybe this is why I don't have hay fever, I don't know, but our lovely next door neighbour, Mr. Armstrong, who was the beekeeper, he used to give it to us, and he'd give it to us in the comb.
Oh.
And it was
Yeah.
amazing. And I
Wow.
don't know about it, does taste a bit waxy. There's no denying it. But spread on toast, a bit of butter, and you kind of smush it into it's
Mm.
really,
Delicious.
really, really nice. Yeah.
Mm.
So yeah, simple things like that you can really help yourself, rather than thinking I have a lifetime of antihistamines ahead of me
Oh.
instead.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the side effects from those as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Drowsy or just feeling rotten half the time. Yeah.
So how about feeding kids? We have the best intentions, don't we? We think, oh, it's going to be organic, whatever, for forever, and they're going to be beautifully healthy and wonderful. And then you have a child, and they sometimes poo-poo the idea, don't they?
Oh yeah. Yes. Yeah. I don't know many. I know some children
Yeah.
that love to eat their fruit and their vegetables and
Mm.
salads and all the rest of it, but I personally don't have a child like that.
I've got one of each.
Yeah. I'm a master at just, hidden veg, things like that.
Yes.
Casseroles are okay.
Yeah,
But, individual veg on a roast dinner, no, that's a no. So casseroles, sort of 5 veg bologneses and
Yeah,
things like
nice.
that.
I do that and the chili con carne, and the same thing. I kind of, even now, even though they're teenagers, it all goes through the food processor, all finely diced up. And I used to still make it now actually, a tomato sauce with hidden veg,
Oh yes.
fish cakes, like with sardines in it and stuff like that. But you make it into a fish cake, and suddenly, and when they were little, if they wanted ketchup, it's like, well, fine.
Okay. I think it's fine. If all they're having is chips and ketchup, then might be an issue. But,
But
I think you've got to, otherwise food becomes then an issue, doesn't it?
yeah,
You
exactly.
know,
Yeah, and
um,
I've got daughters, and that's definitely a message I didn't want to send
mm,
to them of, they need to be careful. No, you need to eat well, and actually having a good appetite is a sign of good health. If you've got a
yes,
good appetite for your food, you've got a good appetite for life, as far as I'm
there we
concerned.
are.
That's
Couldn't
my
agree more.
excuse. Sophie, tell me about the Healthy Homeopathy Standard Plan.
Okay, so the standard plan offers support for things like, I don't know, childhood ailments, eczema, um, allergies, more long-term complaints like arthritis or anything
Hay
else.
fever.
Hay fever, of
Yeah,
course.
yeah.
Yes. Um, and with that, you get your consultation
Mm-hmm.
and your individualized prescription.
Yep.
And
Individualized, so written for that person particularly. Yeah.
absolutely,
Brilliant.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah, considering all their own personal needs. Um, and then email support in between
Fantastic.
appointments as well.
That sounds brilliant.
Kieran, you offer a personalised plan. Can you tell us more about that?
The personalised treatment plan's really good for things like IBS, migraines, chronic complaints. Usually there's a complexity with it as well. So patients who come in and say, I've got IBS, I'm getting headaches, I'm going through my menopause, I've got arthritic knees, etc. There's a lot going on. You need to unpack it. So what the treatment plan does is it offers 3 months of complete care, complete homeopathic care. So it includes a consultation every month, check-in calls, email support, the cost of all the homeopathic remedies, the homeopathic prescriptions, a nourishment plan. If you need it, a mindfulness plan as well, because there's often it can affect how people feel mentally and emotionally too. So it's absolute complete homeopathic care for 3 months to help people with a chronic complaint.
Okay, so it's a complete package for people.
Absolutely, yeah.
Mm.
Sophie, let me tell you about the Cherish workshop. I'm really excited about this. I don't know why I haven't done it before, to be honest. So I like doing stuff for free. I like doing stuff for free because I like giving a little bit back. It's a busy clinic, it's a successful clinic, and I think it's important to, yeah, be generous with things. So it's aimed at clients or potential clients, and it's going to be a free workshop online on the 21st of May. Put it in your diaries. All people have to do is sign up on the email list. If they're not already on it, sign up today. If you're on it, you'll get an email. And then basically, it's about an hour and a half with me and Izzy from the team. And we're going to talk about how people can cherish themselves, look after themselves. There are things that you can do at home to help your health. So we're going to do some breath work. We're going to talk about homeopathy, homeobotanicals. We're going to talk about seed cycling, which is fantastic for hormones. We're going to do some EFT, all stuff that people can literally look to themselves or look in their home and actually access and go, right, today I'm going to do this to help my health a little bit. And we're going to have a nice warm conversation about it, be supportive of each other, because I think we live in such a busy age and also a time of, in uncertainty, and it can make everyone feel a little bit on edge, which I think is really understandable. But it's also important to take time and actually look after yourself as well as your loved ones, but look after yourself first, so that then your cup, if you like, is fuller, and then you can be more for other people if you're there for yourself first. So that's the idea about. Are you gonna
Yeah, I'd love to come. I
excellent?
think that sounds brilliant. And I think it sounds to me like even if you sort of only sort of maybe sort of introduce one of those things,
Yeah.
that would as a start to just giving yourself that bit of extra support
Absolutely.
that you
People don't
need.
need to sort of, be writing it all down and ticking it off a list. They can choose what resonates with them. They think, right, actually, I heard of EFT, emotional freedom technique or tapping. Never really used it. Only started using it about 6 months ago. I found it really, really helpful. As someone who used to suffer with anxiety, I was coming back on the tube a couple of days ago. I can't remember where I went. Anyhow, and it was getting really, really busy and everything else. And I thought, oh, I'm not particularly happy about this. And then I started just doing it just gently. No one would have even noticed that I was doing that. really helpful. And I thought, gosh, I'm really glad that I learned that. So I'm gonna share that amongst other things.
Yeah, no, that sounds brilliant. It's
Okay,
always
sign up.
something I've wanted to or meant to learn
Exactly,
more
it's
about,
sometimes on the list, isn't it?
Mm.
Yeah. No, perfect. We'll be there.
I
Should be
will.
exciting.
Sounds fantastic.
Thanks very much for joining us today at the Healthy Homeopathy podcast, and a huge thank you to Sophie Murishwar from the team for joining us today in this. It's been a great conversation.
Yeah,
Really
thanks, Kieran.
enjoyed
I've
it.
really enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, me too.
Mm.
Please do tune in again, subscribe, and meet us at the next Healthy Homeopathy podcast. Bye for now.